Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Naked Health Warriors. Today I have Dr. Anthony and Kate Golay, who are from the Gold Coast, who are absolutely fantastic. I am so super excited to introduce you to two truly inspirational people who are creating such an amazing tribe of change makers around the planet when it comes to their personal health and the health of those around them. Kate is brilliant. She literally wants to help every single family raise their kids and raise them well. And then we have Dr. Anthony, an amazing pair. And Dr. A is all about human performance, helping people get over their internal story, move past, and have an absolutely brilliant life when it comes to their health. Guys, I'd love to know a little bit more about you guys from your perspective, a little bit about what you guys do.
Thanks so much for having us. We're super excited to be on. So, for us, we're super passionate about helping people live the best version of themselves. And, for our own family, we've got a 4, 6, and 8-year-old. So we're in the thick of, raising children. So we know what it's like and the challenges that parents can kind of face along the journey. And, I think it's been our own journey that's kind of led us to be passionate about what we get to do, every single day now.
Brilliant. I love that you said my favorite catchphrase, the be your best, be the best version of yourself, because there's no one quite like you. That's so cool. Dr. Anthony and Kate, I would love to know what you guys are doing right now. What is inspiring you to be fueling the nations, and about the kind of person who you guys really are loving to help?
Yeah, I think that our passion comes a little bit from sorrow. Just looking at the health statistics of Australia and New Zealand and the globe, it's definitely heading in the wrong direction. And when we look at the healthiest people on the planet, it's really simple changes. And I think at the moment, health is made to be something that's really complex and confusing, when really it's not. So our passion comes from, I guess, bridging the gap between where people are and where they know they should be, and making simple upgrades so that they can express their full potential. And I think, as Kate said, we're in the thick of it with family and business and all of that. And so life can get a little hectic, but I think it's just some basic principles that we can hang our daily rituals on. And it's that change over a period of time, which really accumulates, so people can have aggression. So, really our mission now is global. We've had very much hands-on experience with wellness centres here on the Gold Coast and in Brisbane, but excited to understand technology more and start to get programs out there online so we can have a bigger reach.
Wow, that's wonderful. That is brilliant. One of the things that I absolutely loved and picked up on right away was that health can be simple by simple changes. There is so much information. In fact, the internet is like this information overload place that we really need to be able to tap into some simple health statistics, understand why they're, taking us in the wrong direction, and turn it around into simple changes that we can truly make. I'd love to hear, and I'd love for you guys to share a little bit with the audience about your guys' story. I know you've obviously run the 5 chiropractic studios, Body Brilliant, Tony Robbins chiropractor. Kate's obviously been involved in Life Mastery with Tony Robbins. Then you've got your overfed and undernourished, your movie about your, the 11-year-old who was 80 kilos. I would love to hear about your past, guys, and how we can show and help listeners really understand that it doesn't matter where they're at right now. It's all got to do with how they can use the past and motivate them to move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for a lot of people on a health journey, it's come from a void of health missing. And that was certainly the case for us. I had headaches, fairly normal headaches. I thought they were growing up. And, mum would just put Panadol in me and the headache would go away for a while and on you go with life. And I had allergies and I'd fall asleep in class and, you don't really know much different. If I was on a sporting field, I was loving that. I was lit up. But as soon as I held still, I think if we wanted to diagnose it, it'd be chronic fatigue or something like that these days. But I remember waking up one particular day with an excruciating headache. It was off the charts, like rolling on the ground, pulling my hair out. and nothing in the medicine cabinet seemed to dent it. So Mum called up the hospital and they said, yeah, bring him in. And I would have been, 21 at that time. And so I remember going to hop into the car, and the last minute you kind of bend your head down to let your head go in. I'm tall, I'm like 6'3". I remember smacking my head against the door frame of the car because I couldn't bend my neck. And so I got to the hospital. They did an amazing job of diagnosing that I had meningococcal. And so I was rushed off to the district hospital, and people in white full-length suits came in, like head to toe, and it was all pretty scary for Kate and my parents. I really didn't have a clue what was going on. But clearly I didn't die, but several people in the hospital did that week. And when I got out of the hospital, I had still had neck pain, still had low back pain, so I had a lumbar puncture done. And I thought, gosh, who do you see when you got back pain? I'll go to the chiropractor. And that was really a turning point for us. So as I walked into this centre, and you have this image of what you think chiropractic is going to be. And I walked in there, and there's like little babies crawling around and getting adjusted by the chiropractor. And there's nanas just sprightly dancing through the hallway and high-fiving each other. And I'm like, what is this? But I had that innate sense of, oh my gosh, this is what I'm supposed to do. And I said to the chiropractor, I think I want to be a chiropractor. And he was really cool. He took me under his wing, and he took us to seminars. And at that time, I was already studying exercise science. I thought I wanted to do something around sports performance. But I was just fascinated with what he was explaining about the intelligence of the body and how it can heal itself as long as there's no interference to that. And it's really through the spine and the nervous system that allows that to do its best work. So, off I went, another 5 years study, and really became crazy about understanding what got people well and what kept them well. And so that set us off on a journey. But I'll let kind of Kate chime in, because she had an experience a couple of visits after me at the chiropractor as well.
Yeah, so I, grew up my mum was a nurse and grew up kind of things that would put me in hospital when I was younger. And from a very young age, I had natural repulsion to it, but I had to be on it, literally breathe and survive. So, Mum did the best that she knew how at the time. But after Anthony had gone through his own experience, I thought, well, look, I might as well get a checkup from the chiropractor as well. It makes sense just to know that my body's, I'm not in any pain, but it makes sense to get a checkup. And when he took x-rays of my spine, I had lots of stuff going on where the nerves went to my respiratory system. And so I started getting adjusted from him, and literally within 3 months, I was all of my medication and have been ever since. And so for me, just to really see what natural health can do and how you can turn your life around from that has been amazing. And so talking about raising healthy children, we were able to have all of our babies at home, drug-free and naturally, and are able to raise them in a way that they haven't had a drug in their body. They're just full of life and vitality. And so we're super passionate about really helping show others how they can avoid our journey that we have been on, and also learn from that to be able to pour into their own families.
Wonderful. I truly resonate with your guys' message. There are so many people on this planet, as you said, who want to get well and stay well. They don't just want a quick fix. And understanding your guys' journey by having the chiropractor from both angles, from Anthony with your headaches and from Kate with your respiratory system and your nervous system, it's so cool that you guys were able to totally rid yourself of medication and turn life around. There are so many people who are feeling hopeless right now and are remaining at the effect of their symptoms. So it's super, super cool. So guys, knowing and understanding your guys' story and a little bit about where you come from, I'd love to know some of your 3 greatest healthy living lessons that you can pass along to the listeners today.
Yeah, I think it became really apparent as we were traveling, and we went kind of all over the globe and studying the healthiest, longest lived people and kind of the best health practitioners, that nutrition was really foundational. People are digging their graves with their teeth and not knowing it. And so I think just getting back to basics around nutrition, I think we overcomplicate things talking about proteins and carbohydrates and fats when really our body doesn't particularly understand that. If we just thought about what we put in our body as plants, animals, and processed, and people already get a sense, we should be eating a lot more plants, depending on whatever your viewpoint is, whether you have animals or a little bit of animals, and really to minimize processed. And if we start with that as a foundational principle, and then with the plants getting lots of variety, lots of colors of the rainbow, obviously that is going to allow all our different body systems and enzymes and cells to be able to do their best work. So I think that's the foundation.
Then the next thing I would say is definitely cleansing your body, and I love what you stand for, because one part of our own journey was I actually was working in programs who would be helping people through like 7-day juice fasts, around 100 people each week. They would doing live blood analysis and colonics and other elements of cleansing as well, and just seeing what happens when we stop and allow the body to rest, to do what it's supposed to do, is truly amazing. I think so many people are go, and if we're feeling sick, we'll pop a pill or we'll push it aside, and we don't actually allow our body to stop and rest. And if you look at an animal, if they're not well, they'll eat some grass, they'll lay under a tree, they might throw up, and then that's kind of it. And we, in this crazy busy world of to-dos, we just don't take time out for us. So cleansing your body regularly is phenomenal to really wipe the slate clean and give your body a fresh chance as well. I think that's so important and powerful in leading a long and healthy life as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And number 3, I think, is the mental game. When you look at our brain and system, it is just unbelievable how it can adapt to its environment, both externally and internally within our body. And so doing things that allow your brain and nervous system to do its best work. So obviously things like, whether it's chiropractic, osteopathy, or something just to get the stress out of our nervous system. And then practices like your meditation, just getting back to that, getting the clutter out of our brain. We live in a fast-paced, electromagnetic field surrounded, Wi-Fi, full of screens in our face. And it just, that's what our brain and nervous system then resonates with. And I think, all of our moments of clarity and visualization and getting back to our purpose come from those still moments. And so having ways to, allow our brain and nervous system to do its best work.
Wow. Brilliant. That's blown me away, and I hope it's blown the listeners away too. Just to remind and recap, the very first thing that they talked about was nutrition, keeping it at basics, keeping it to the rainbow and let your cells do the best work. Second thing, as Kate mentioned, cleansing your body and letting it rest. In this busy world of to-dos, we need to give it some time. And then number 3, the mental game, removing the stress, meditating and decluttering and removing everything that is holding us into a bad place of health. That is absolutely brilliant. Guys, I have heard so many amazing things about you, but I would love to know, and I'm sure the listeners would like to hear as well, I know that you guys have done the movie, you've helped so many different people in all their areas of life and focusing on the health. I would love to know who you guys really feel is your most standout story of transformation that you've seen, experienced, and helped through.
Well, I think probably the story that is really dear to our heart is actually the story of our nephew. So for those of you who haven't heard of the documentary Overfed and Undernourished, my nephew kind of was 11 years old and over 80 kilos at the time. And because health is our thing, his family came to us and asked for help. And we said, we can't do what we do every day with people all over the world and not help the people that are closest to us. And so long story short, Liam, he knew, we asked him, what do you think life's going to be like, darling, if you don't change? And he said, I'll probably die early. And so that was really heartbreaking for us to hear and to see kind of what had happened for him and his weight and his emotional state and his lack of confidence that he had. So he came to live with our family, and we also said to him, well, if we're going to have you with us. What if we were to document or film your journey so that we could help inspire other families to kind of help make some changes as well? And so he volunteered to all of that. He moved in with us. We made some big changes nutritionally, like what Anthony was saying, getting back to basics, more plants, lots of water, green smoothies, away from the processed and less animals, and moving his body in fun ways, really pouring into his heart, figuring out what it was that lit him up and making that fun, to get outside and move. We planted a veggie garden. He got involved in the kitchen. Just so many different ways for him to transform. And in the short 3.5 months that he was with us, he lost over 20 kilos, which was amazing. And I think the weight loss, one thing, but what he got back in, just vitality and long-term health, as well as probably the big thing was his confidence and his, grades at school and willingness and wanting to be active and getting out there with his friends was just the best thing. So, his journey has inspired us, but inspired thousands of people all over the world from being able to watch that. So that's probably the biggest story that we love to share, just to see how simple upgrades over time can literally transform someone's life. And even if an 11-year-old can do it, then, can an adult, who's got way more willpower than an 11-year-old.
Wow. Simply absolutely astronomical. That's crazy. It's insane to think that when you ask an 11-year-old boy at such a young age, what's life going to be like in the future, and they say they're going to die early, that must have been so heartbreaking for you. You guys have done such a brilliant job with that. Dr. A, I'd love to know from the other side of the spectrum, because, we're not all massively overweight. We don't all feel that we have all these crazy big problems. We're just allowing ourselves to live with the symptoms. I know that you present from small to large presentations, and you help people transform their mindset and their healthy eating. I'd love to know some of the takeaways that people get, Anthony, from the experience of spending a little bit of time from you when they move back into their health.
Yeah, I think the big one is just understanding your beliefs around health is the first and foremost, because, the practicals of what to do to be healthy are really simple. But if people don't have the principles behind that, so they understand why they're doing what they need to do. And so I think the big one is just setting up a framework of, if you think about a spectrum of health, and at one end you've got what you've called allopathy. And allopathy means simply treating a symptom for the sake of treating the symptom. So, for example, when I grew up and I had a headache, I would take a Panadol. And so headaches aren't from a deficiency of Panadol in the body. It wasn't like I was missing that nutrient. But obviously that masks the symptoms. So that's a great example of what allopathy is. Where we fall down with that model is the word symptom means a sign of something else. And so if we're treating the symptom and not getting to the something else, there's going to be some problems down the track. It's like driving along in the car and the oil light starts flashing, and we get out a Band-Aid and put it on the dashboard. You go, oh my gosh, thank goodness for that. Instead of going, no, we actually need to go down under the bonnet or the hood, wherever you're living, and check the oil. And so down the track, the engine doesn't blow up. And then if we go all the way to the other end of the spectrum, you've got what you've called wellness or holism or vitality. And that's really, it asks a different question. It's how do I get back to my best? How do I get back to full function? And so it's not so much to do with getting rid of the symptoms. It's about allowing your body to do its best work. And so if people kind of start to realize, what do I need to do to allow my body to do its best work, instead of going, how do I just get rid of the symptom? That's a massive, massive shift, especially in today's age where it's all about immediate gratification. It's, what's going to make me feel good today. So I think that's the big takeaway, to be honest. If we can shift that, all of the practicals just fall in line around how should we eat then? How should we exercise? How should we have that mindset? And then the other one is just when people understand just because I'm not sick doesn't mean I'm well. You think about, so cancer is like more than 1 in 3 people are dying of cancer at the moment. But 80% of those, you don't know you have the cancer until you're diagnosed as terminal. Or if we think about heart disease, that's more like 1 in 2 people dying of heart disease. But guess what? You don't feel a clogged artery. In fact, 40% of heart attacks, the first symptom is you're dead. There was no symptoms. So people are kind of thinking, oh, when it gets bad enough, there'll be symptoms, and then I kind of ignore them, or I take a medication, or I even do something natural just to get rid of the symptom, instead of getting right back to being, letting all those body functions optimize. I know that was very long. I'll stop. I get a bit wound up.
You literally have so much knowledge. We're going to have you back, or maybe create an extra session, because you have so much to offer, and there's a lot of people who are listening who really, really need to hear this. So I've been sitting here scribbling away, taking a whole heap of notes, and there's only a little bit of time left, so we better get this one wrapped up. I'd love to know from you guys what you guys feel real health is to you, because everyone has their own version of what health really is. But what do you feel real health, and getting down to basics, just simply summed up, what is it for you?
For us, it is about nourishing our body every single day. So knowing that our body's getting the nutrition that it needs, getting your feet in the sand or the grass, and just connecting back to Mother Nature. Like, so much technology, and it is phenomenal, but I think it's important to ground yourself every day. The other thing as well is it's okay to not have so many rules. We still have some pizza and we'll have a drink here. Like, it's not like, to start with on our health journey, we had a lot of rules, and we would do that, we wouldn't do that, and it was actually creating more stress than just having some balance. So, we call it the 80-20 rule. If you do the right thing 80% of the time, then here and there you can have a zag day, or you can have that favorite little indulgent thing, and not beat yourself up about it. So I think that's really important, to enjoy your health journey and not have it so strict that it's causing you more stress in your body as well. And and just the other thing is teaching the children, if you have children, to really have them want to understand Mother Nature, connect to their food, whether it's planting that garden, and teaching them about different food signatures and how it's going to nourish their body, so that they can understand those principles of stick first as well when they're little, and grow up with that healthy mindset.
Yeah. I think instead of even segregating, this is health, just your life is health. If you're not making time every day, that's part of your ritual of life. Health isn't like this some abstract thing that we get to sometimes. I think a lot of people say my health is my wealth, but what comes out their mouth and what you follow with their feet and their actions are often different. And as Kate alluded to, people then beat themselves up because they're not meeting their own expectations. And so, drop the rules and just create a life where you set those values and you create the time where you're living those values.
Yeah. The last thing that we have as part of our day every day is we have grateful for time. So we sit down with our children or whoever's at the table, and we ask the question of, what are you grateful for today? And I think that kind of grounds us back to getting away from whatever might have been challenging through the day, and actually, to be thankful for the things that we are blessed to have in our world. So that's kind of health for us.
That is brilliant. I've got to have you guys back again. This has been an absolutely amazing session. There's so many mums who want to help their kids understand. They want to, have their kids grounded before they go to bed. They want to have them eating healthier food. So we're definitely going to have you back. Guys, let's just do the quick fire questions. Quick fire is where I ask you a simple question and you give a simple 1 or 2 word answer. First question for you guys. Who is your hero?
My mum.
Your mom. And Kate, who's your hero?
I would say my children. My children are my heroes. They just teach me so much every single day.
Awesome. Oh, that's very cute. Love it. What's the number one super weird but effective thing you guys do as a couple?
Effective, super weird. You know what? I wouldn't say it's super weird, but we do when we have our walk on the. We live on the beach, and when we get to go for our walk and have our download and really kind of whether it's an event or a inspiring kind of dream session, I think that's really powerful for us to connect back to the things that are important and for us to understand each other. So I don't know if that's weird, but it's effective.
It's brilliant. A lot of people miss it.
Yeah, I just don't take life too serious. So I like to embarrass Kate.
I love it, guys. I love it, guys. And what is your number one rule for efficiency in your guys' household?
Start with a plan. You know, we're all about taking action, and sometimes we take a lot of action instead of going, what's our outcome? So I think that one question of starting the day with what's my outcome?
Definitely.
Otherwise you spend a lot of time majoring in minor things. And at the end of the day, you don't feel fulfilled.
Love it. Great input. What is the number one piece of investment or book or resource that you'd recommend for people who are wanting to improve their health today?
One, like a library.
What's your top one?
Honestly, I'm a bit biased, but we learn through stories. And I think to watch Overfed and Undernourished, whether you're an adult or whether you do it, sit down as a family and watch it, and you'll learn more through following the story than reading a book or having lots of information.
Brilliant. Love it, guys. And last but not least, who would you guys like to see coming up on this podcast?
Have you had Tyler and Don Tolman? We're big fans of theirs. I don't know if you've had them on at all, but they've been instrumental in our kind of health journey. So love listening to any words that they have. They're awesome.
Yes, we do have Tyler coming up. I believe he is coming up very soon, which is brilliant. And Dr. A, anyone who you would recommend?
Yeah, Dr. John DiMartini. Absolutely. The guy is a genius, and I don't think he'll truly be recognized for what he's done as far as understanding the planet we live in, the universe, our mindset, until he's dead. He's just amazing.
Wow, brilliant. Thank you so much for the recommendations, guys. We'll see what we can do. It's been an absolute pleasure, an absolute honor to have you guys on. I believe that there's going to be a lot of people who are interested in finding out a little bit more about you guys. You have a plethora of knowledge and you're such brilliant, kind, generous, giving people. Listeners, if you can head to www.tribalwellness.com/reconnect, you can find out a little bit more about their 10-day challenge. Guys, is it okay to allow some people to come your way and find out a little bit more about you guys?
We would love that. Absolutely. To help you wherever your health journey is currently at, I think that's the big thing for us is meeting someone wherever they're at and then making healthy upgrades from there. So it doesn't matter if you're a couch potato or a vegan elite athlete or anywhere in between, everyone can make some improvement. So we'd love to connect with you guys.
Brilliant. And before we sign off, any last piece of advice you'd like to leave with the listeners today?
Absolutely. We just live on a little blue dot. And I think sometimes we make life so complex and we worry about what other people are thinking and what we are or aren't doing. But at the end of the day, it's just do what makes you happy. And I think when you start to have those shifts in mindset, then you just got to make better choices where you go, I want to put more nourishing things in my body. I have a zest for life, so I actually want to move my body. And it becomes something, instead of being on the to-do list, to that you're inspired. And I think that's our natural state. If you watch children play or animals in nature, that's what they do. They dance around and they frolic with each other. And I think, just not to take it so serious. Take a broader view of what we're doing here on this little blue dot.
Beautiful. Great parting knowledge. Thank you so much. This has been Harriet Worth from the Naked Health Warriors podcast. Live your life, love your body, juice, and stay tuned for more interviews just like this. Have an absolutely amazing day and live your life. Bye for now.